Welcome back to the Living Simpler podcast. If you caught last week's episode, you know what today is about. We are finishing the list, 25 more lessons from my 50 years of living, building, breaking, and becoming. If you missed part 1, go back and listen first. But if you are jumping in here today, that is okay too. These lessons stand on their own. So let's pick up right where we left off. These are lessons 26 through 50 as I turn 50. Lesson 26. You are allowed to outgrow old versions of yourself. You do not have to stay who you were just because other people are comfortable with her. I have lived many lives, many careers, 2 marriages. I have lived in 3 very different states. I invest thousands of dollars every year into my personal and business growth. I'm always trying to become a better person tomorrow than I am today. One of my sheer core values is personal growth. I consider it a blessing to grow and change, and I hope to do that for the rest of my life. Growth is not betrayal of who you were. It is honoring who you are becoming. Lesson 27, confidence comes from keeping promises to yourself. Every small promise matters. I am learning this over and over currently. I have heard both Dan Martell and Jasmine Starr talk about this a lot recently. Dan talks about becoming a person who, I have told Mike that I am a person who gets up and does my walk or workout day in and day out, even if I do not want to. For years, my goal was 3 to 4 days a week. It is really easy to let something slide when you only commit to it 50% of the time. When you say that you will do it day in and day out or week in and week out, that is a commitment to you. Jasmine talks about her 600 plus episodes of her podcast and that it was not always convenient to get out. I get it. The podcast for me is way more a passion project than a moneymaker right now. When time seems short, non-money making activities are one of the first things to skip. But when I launched the Living Simpler podcast almost a year ago, I committed to myself that I would do it weekly, even when it was not convenient. All we have is our word, and at times in my life, I have not kept my word to myself. That stopped this year. This is also why the habit tracking inside the Living Simpler app matters so much to me. Confidence is not something you manufacture with a pep talk. It is something you build, one kept promise at a time. Lesson 28. Your calendar and your credit card statement tell the truth. What you give your time and money to is what you are really choosing. Your words matter, but your actions matter more. When people come to me and do not know why things are not working out in their businesses or health, I ask to see their calendar and their P&L or their calendar and food journal. Within less than 10 minutes, I can tell what is off. We all tell ourselves stories about what is happening, but our calendars and credit cards do not lie. When Mike and I first got together, he would go to the ATM 2 to 3 times a week, every week, and pull out $40 to $50 in cash. After just a couple of weeks living together and having a joint account, I asked him where the money was going. He said he really did not know. A cocktail or 2 with friends, a few fast food meals, nothing big, but something substantial when you looked at it all together. Remember that I was a financial advisor, and that kind of situation stressed me out. At just $100 a week, that was a $5,200 a year expense. We promptly cut up the debit cards, and I handed him a credit card. At first, I told him to just do what was normal, but I wanted us to track it. After a while, we started to see some pretty big patterns. Again, not a whole lot of money in each item, but a really nice car payment each month on fast food and just lifestyle creep. Same thing with business and relationships. How much time are you spending marketing your business? How much time are you spending learning? How much time are you spending with the people you love the most? Those are the things that will show what is really important to you and who you will be this time next year and beyond. Lesson 29. You cannot do everything in one season. Some seasons are for building, some are for healing, some are for resting, some are for becoming. One of my favorite books is Shonda Rhimes' The Year of Yes. She talks about how in the midst of her busiest time, during Grey's Anatomy private practice scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, people asked her how she was doing it all. As women, we have fought for the ability to do it all or have it all, But her explanation was that she looked at all of it as balls that she had in the air. Some were glass and some were rubber. And the key was recognizing the difference and not allowing the glass ones to be the ones to drop. We go through different seasons. Sometimes your business growth is the glass ball. Sometimes our family needs more and becomes the glass ball. Sometimes our health becomes the glass ball. The key is to recognize that the glass balls will often change, and that is okay. We can still do it all. We still can have it all, just often not at the same time. Lesson 30, the slower path can still be the right path. Not everything has to happen fast to be meaningful. When I opened my first fitness studio, after we found our location, we had the doors open in under 30 days from our lease signing. The blessing was that we did not have to do a ton of construction and that we worked for hours every night, 7 days a week to get it all done. The problem was that we did not do enough marketing before we opened our doors, and it was stressful. A few years later, a client came to me and had found her space and wanted to have her doors open in 60 days, including negotiating the lease and building out the space. I told her I thought we could do it, but it would be like drinking through a fire hose, and I wanted to know that she was up to the task. It was a lot. We were checking in every day or two, sometimes talking more than once a day, to handle all the decisions that needed to be made so quickly. I believe that we need to make decisions quickly. The women that I know that get stuck in analysis paralysis almost always find that it is harder. But I am also a big advocate for slowing down and making sure that the ladder is against the right wall before you start climbing it. Today, I stop. I take time to really meditate and pray on decisions. I am much more in tune with where I want to go next before I just jump. Lesson 31, joy is not extra. Joy matters. Beauty matters. Laughter matters. Fun matters. Mike has been trying to teach me this for the past 25 years. A number of years ago, I asked him about his purpose in life. I was not looking for him to say that he was hoping to cure world hunger, but I was hoping for something substantial. When he told me his life purpose was fun, I was peeved. You see, I have always had a goal, a motivation, a why, a reason to get up and do the hard things every day. He wanted a leisurely coffee at a coffee shop and lunch with friends. He wanted to golf with his friends. It really made me angry. I was here working myself into the ground while he was out having fun. I still struggle with this a bit. As an Enneagram 3 with the identity of an achiever, I genuinely struggle to turn it off and have more fun. But with some of my health challenges over the past few years, I have learned that the world will keep turning whether I am working or not, and I really take more time for fun, joy, and travel in my life. Lesson 32, the little things are the big things. Coffee in the morning, a walk, a good conversation, a quiet night, a hug. These are the moments that make a life. My favorite times of my days are almost always my morning walks, with a phone call with a friend or a motivational podcast. A close second is my morning coffee with Mike or with my parents this summer. And just after that, it is a glass of wine with Mike sitting on our back patio making life plans. It has been turning his family need into an adventure, doing a cross-country road trip, getting a summer with my parents, being just a couple hours away from Mike and his aunt to handle financial stuff. I keep telling myself that I will not wish I had worked more on my deathbed. Sometimes I think I'm trying to convince myself, but I am really learning over the past few years that I do not need a fancy trip. I do not need fancy clothes and bags. I need more quiet time with those that mean the most to me. Lesson 33, you are allowed to need help. Being strong does not mean doing everything alone. I have a series of girlfriends who are all business owners. They are all badasses and have been in my life for over 15 years now. And every one of us have said something similar from our husbands, and I hear it from Mike frequently. It is some version of, I wish you were nicer to me. I think the challenge is that when we are trying to be everything for everyone, there is a lot on our shoulders. When I let my guard down and allow myself to feel the things, I am often soft and struggle to maintain my composure. So instead, I put on a suit of armor and show up in a certain way. That means not asking for help. It means figuring it out. It means doing the darn thing, even when you are tired. The problem is that 80% of autoimmune disease diagnosis is in women. Doctors have not found the reason, but they suspect it is because of all the stress that women carry. They try so hard to be everything to everyone, harming themselves in the process. I have a hard time asking for help. With my best girlfriends, I have a hard time letting my guard down. But I am learning lesson 34. Letting go can be an act of love for yourself and for others. Jim Rohn said that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, whether it is your team, a relationship, a client, or a friendship. Not everyone will be in your life forever, and that is okay. It does not mean there has to be a big traumatic break, but you can allow space with relationships that are no longer a fit. Lesson 35. You can be ambitious and still want peace. You do not have to choose between building a beautiful life and enjoying it. I think of the people I know who worked so hard for so much of their life with the goal of retirement, and then did not have the time or freedom to enjoy it before a death, a health challenge, or some other crisis. I do not know if our way is right, and we joke that we will be working for 5 years after we die, but we are trying to build a life that we do not have to take a vacation from or retire from. Lesson 36. Success feels different when you are aligned. One of my coaches recently said that burnout is not from doing too much. It is from doing too much without enough wins. When you are aligned, it feels less like chasing and more like coming home. When you genuinely love what you do, it does not feel like work. When you are winning, it does not feel like work. Find something you love and never work a day in your life. Actually, I do not know that I fully agree with that. Even the things I love have hard days. But if you are aligned in what you do, it will be a much happier existence. Lesson 37. Your home, your body, your work, and your relationships should feel like places you can breathe. I learn this more and more every day, especially after spending my 48th birthday in the ICU. God gave us one body. Every decision today is about how something fits in my life. Life is short. Today I make decisions about how it will add to my life. I have systems in my business that only allow someone to become a client if they are the right fit. My circle of friends is small. I have eliminated programs in my business that make money, but that did not fit. I need space. I need quiet. My best work comes from the slow and the times of rest. If something does not bring you life, pay attention. As I said earlier, your body is always speaking to you. Are you listening? Lesson 38. What you tolerate teaches people how to treat you. And sometimes it teaches you what you need to heal. I once read the book Boundaries by Henry Cloud. It was such a good lesson in how we allow people to replay their life patterns in our lives. I have learned that the more I know myself, the less I am willing to tolerate from others. As you know yourself better, you recognize some of the patterns of your life. People will often try to push boundaries until you know what yours are and you hold them. Lesson 39. You do not need everyone to understand your next chapter. It is yours to live, and the more that you do something new that those around you have never done, the less they will understand it. It is not their dream or vision, so they will not fully understand yours. As soon as you know that, you can stop trying to force it. Lesson 40. Some dreams are meant to change, and sometimes the new dream fits you better. Today, I believe firmly that things are happening for us, not necessarily to us. When I opened my first fitness studio, I had one place that was my dream location. I wanted that space so bad. We jumped through hundreds of hoops to make that happen, but it never worked out. Less than a year later, we opened our second studio less than a mile from that location, and the location itself was so much better than the original. That studio became what I called our cash cow. Everything about that second location was better, but it was far from what I had first imagined. Had I not had the experience of our first studio, I would not have known what to look for in our second studio. That was one of the best things that could have happened for us, but it certainly did not feel like it at the time. Lesson 41, healing is not always pretty. Sometimes healing looks like crying, resting, saying no, asking for help, or admitting you are tired. As I have gotten older, I am much more mindful of my mental health. I have spent time in personal therapy. Mike and I have done couples therapy. I have done and been certified as a life coach. And I know that I am a healthier, happier, more positive version of myself because of the work that I have done on myself. But it was not always an easy road. I am constantly working on my mindset and find myself reframing thoughts. Lesson 42, the people who love you well will celebrate your growth. They will not need you to stay small. This is where I am so grateful for my husband, Mike. He has always been my biggest cheerleader and supporter. He often believes in me more than I believe in myself. When I came to him to open my first fitness studio, he said to me, "I know you will do whatever it takes to make it successful." When things got tough and I came to him crying, he would always give me a pep talk and tell me I could do it. My circle of business owner friends are the same way. I keep my circle small and really only people who are of the same mindset. One of the fastest ways to harm your own mindset is to surround yourself with people who see the world from a negative lens. Lesson 43, you are allowed to create a life that looks different from what other people expected. Different can be beautiful. I remember when I first called my parents to tell them that I was leaving a six-figure finance career. I had spent 15 years in finance. I had a degree in finance and marketing, yet that job was killing me a day at a time. I had been considering a Pilates studio. I had been considering a day spa. When I found the Barre studio model, I came home and told Mike that I thought the numbers worked. It was a low barrier to entry in terms of construction. It required less staff. The financials made sense. But when I started telling people I was leaving finance to open a fitness studio, they thought I was crazy. I have spent the past 16 years combining my finance experience with my fitness ownership experience, and it makes me better at both elements of the business. But from the outside, it certainly did not look like what people thought I should do at that phase in my life. Lesson 44, your story matters, even the messy parts, especially the messy parts. We buy from people that we know, like, and trust. We know, like, and trust people that allow us to know and like them. In a world of social media highlight reels, sometimes the best content is the unpolished content. The best clients are the ones who can see themselves in your story. They can only see themselves in your story if you share your story. If you have ever heard of Joseph Campbell and his hero's journey, you know that every movie and television series is based on how the main character overcomes some type of challenge to get to the end. If you do not allow people to see the struggles, they never understand the triumph. I spent almost 10 years in braces. Lesson 45. Travel changes you. I believe that growing up in Middle America as a white woman to parents who worked really hard for everything we have has made me very privileged. I know that some people do not like that I would say that, but I believe it is true. After traveling to Europe, Mexico, the Caribbean, and some other places in the world, I know how blessed I am to come home to clean water, a huge house, a king-sized bed, and all my modern conveniences. I know how blessed I am to have a nice car that will take me anywhere I want to go on mainland America. I love traveling because it changes my perspective. Seeing new places reminds you that the world is big, life is short, and there is so much more to experience. Lesson 46. Love is built in ordinary moments. This is another lesson I learned day in and day out, especially as some of my people have passed. Once they are gone, you cannot get them back. So I am way more aware of enjoying the little moments with my family and friends. A quiet cup of coffee together in the morning, the daily kindness, the showing up, the listening, the laughing, the staying. Lesson 47, you do not have to carry what is not yours. Some pressure can be released. Some expectations can be returned. Some weight was never meant for you. As a coach, this is often something that I have to remind myself. I want what is best for my clients. My job is to help them find their best path to their goal, and their stress cannot be my stress. When I am working with 10 clients at a time, I cannot manage their stress and mine. Lesson 48. Freedom is not just about money. This has become a big lesson after taking a position with a wellness company earlier last year that definitely did not work out. Freedom is being able to be yourself in your own life. It is being able to pick up and go. It is being able to choose your days, your work, and your people. Money can support freedom, but it cannot replace it. Lesson 49. The best chapters can still be ahead. I believe that more now than ever. As people, mainly my husband, will say, "Oh, you are turning 50. It is downhill from here." I am looking forward to this chapter. I speak my mind a bit more. I am wiser. I am more self-confident. I am more self-aware. Lesson 50, 50. I believe that coming home to yourself may be the greatest work of your life. And maybe that is what this birthday is really about for me. Not becoming someone new, but finally becoming more fully myself and owning that. More honest, more peaceful, more grounded, more healthy, more grateful, more present, more free. As I step into 50, I feel incredibly thankful. Thankful for the lessons I learned the hard way, thankful for the people who love me, thankful for the places life has taken me, thankful for the businesses I have built, thankful for the women I have been able to help, thankful for my health and the way my body continues to teach me, thankful for Mike and the life we are creating, thankful for family, friendship, and the little moments that mean more than anything. Thankful for every version of me that got me here. And I am also excited for what is next, excited to keep simplifying, excited to keep healing, excited to keep building, excited to keep loving, excited to keep learning, excited to keep becoming. Here is to 50. Here is to living simpler. Here is to more peace. Here is to better health. Here is to more freedom. Here is to deeper love. Here is to beautiful ordinary days. Here is to the next chapter. I am so grateful to be here. And that, my friends, is all 50. 50 lessons, 50 years, 2 careers, 2 marriages, 2 fitness studios, a stroke, an ICU birthday, an autoimmune diagnosis, and a brand called Living Simpler that grew out of all of it. If you listened to both parts of this series, thank you. Truly. Sharing this with you has been one of the most meaningful things I have done on this podcast. If something in here moved you, I would love to know which lesson hit hardest. Send me a message, leave a review, or share this episode with a friend who needs it today. And if you are ready to do this work for yourself, to track your own patterns, to journal your own truth, to build your own sustainable, aligned, simpler life, the Living Simpler Collective and the Living Simpler app are here for you. You can find both at living-simpler.com. Thank you for walking through these 50 lessons with me. Here is to the next chapter for all of us. I will see you next week.